What if I told you that spending 5 years of your life and a huge heap of money on university might be setting you up for financial failure? Let me show you something terrifying. Computer science graduates are sending out 1,000 or more applications and receiving nothing back. Business majors with perfect GPAs can't even land entry level positions. The reason why will fundamentally change how you view your future. See, while you're studying for exams, AI is silently eliminating all of the careers that your professors are preparing you for. But before we dive deeper, just pause and comment. What percentage of university graduates do you think are working jobs that require the degrees that they've got? The real statistic will make you question everything you've been told about higher education. Look, I believed in the same university promise that you probably believe in right now. Get a good degree, secure your future, live a good life. But researching what actually happens to current graduates of some of the best degrees of some of the best universities, what I discovered will completely reshape how you think about your future. A surgeon who spent 8 years at university earns roughly $435,000 per year. That's pretty good, right? But here's what shocked me. Content creators who have zero educational experience and zero student loan debt significantly out earn surgeons. For example, a YouTuber with 1 million subscribers earns an average of $900,000 per year, more than double the surgeon. Plus, if you consider their input, like a surgeon is working 50, 60 hours per week in a high stress environment, and they have to work, they have to be super stressed because they're dealing with people's lives, and they might be called in the middle of the night to perform heart surgery or whatever. Whereas a YouTuber or a TikToker, they can work in the comfort of their own home, they can choose their hours, and the day is pretty laid back most of the time. Also, in Australian high schools and probably high schools across the world, the high achieving subjects are things like chemistry, physics, advanced maths. And here's the reality: less than 3% of graduates actually use these subjects in their daily work. See, I learned calculus for 2 years and I haven't used it once since the day I graduated. I chose those subjects thinking they'd guarantee success, but here's what universities don't tell you about their own graduate employment programs, and why following their advice might be the biggest financial mistake you can make. Remember those struggling graduates I mentioned? Here's the real story. Coding graduates who were promised six-figure wages by the time they enrolled in their degree are now applying for thousands of jobs with zero success. The New York Times even quoted this one graduate saying, "I just graduated with a computer science degree, and the only company that had called me for an interview is Chipotle, a fast food place." None of the jobs that she actually applied for with her degree have even called her back for an interview. Another man on the same article graduated 2 years ago, 2023. He says he's applied for 5,762 jobs. Of those, he's got 13 interviews and zero full-time positions actually offered to him. He even applied for a job at McDonald's out of desperation but was turned down for lack of experience. Isn't that ridiculous? He chose a degree that was supposed to guarantee his future, invested a bunch of time and money. He did super well. He graduated, and now after 2 years job searching, 6,000 job applications. Imagine filling out 6,000 job applications, and he got nothing. Like, that would depress me. Like, I don't know, if I were you. He even said in the article that he sort of feels hopeless. Like, what's the point? And I don't blame him. And here's the number that really explains the crisis. AI is removing entry-level positions at 3 times the rate that universities are producing graduates. Customer service, data analytics, junior programming roles, 67% reduction in the last 18 months. When I was in year 10, so 3 years ago, 2022, I was told that data analytics was the future. I remember my parents telling me that if I wanted a guaranteed job with a good salary, I could always go into data analytics and it was guaranteed to do well. So I didn't want to because it wasn't something I was interested in. But imagine if I took that advice. If I started that degree in 2025, the start of this year, it would have already been going downhill. And a year into my degree, where I am now, there would be like a 67% reduction in the last 18 months alone. Imagine by the time I finish my degree in 4 years' time, you could probably guess it'd be about 95% or something like that. It would be impossible to find a job with the so-called future-proof degree 4 years ago. Isn't that ridiculous? But here's where it gets interesting. While traditional graduates are struggling, there's a specific group of people that are actually profiting from this chaos, and their background might surprise you. Here's that university statistic that you predicted. Only 27% of graduates work in jobs that actually use their degree. That means 73% of graduates, or 3/4 of people, could have skipped university entirely and achieved the exact same outcome. I want to run an experiment real quick. Check your screen time right now. Go to settings, find it. I'll wait. The average screen time is 7.4 hours per day. Every minute that you spend on your phone generates revenue for someone else. But what if you could flip that equation? YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, they've weaponized psychology to capture attention. They have teams of people with PhDs working 24/7 to make these apps more and more addicting, and most people don't even realize that they're the product that's being sold. Prediction time. If the average person spends 7.4 hours on social media per day, how much money do you think that attention is worth per year? Drop it in the comments and I'll give you the answer in 10 seconds. Here's what your professors never told you about this attention economy, and why understanding this could be worth more than any degree. Your 7.4 hours daily are worth roughly $2,700 per year to big tech companies, but content creators capturing that same attention, they keep 100% of that value, which is why nowadays YouTubers could be out-earning surgeons. The old university promise was simple: study hard, get a good degree, get a good job, get high income, live happy. But this pathway is completely broken now. Here's a final prediction for you. What percentage of millionaires do you think actually have university degrees? Your answer reveals everything that's wrong with the current educational priorities, and it's probably not what your career counselor told you. See, the truth is, only 38% of millionaires have university degrees, and most of those that do didn't even use their degree to actually build their wealth. They did it through business, investing, and skills that they taught themselves. So why are we still playing by outdated rules? Don't abandon university completely if you've already committed, but don't put all your energy there either. Split your focus. Maintain your grades, but also build real-world skills that the market actually values. Content creation, digital marketing, e-commerce, online services. These skills are generating more wealth than most degrees ever will. The next 5 years will bring more career disruption than the last 20. Are you preparing for an economy that's coming, or are you clinging to the one that's already gone? Universities aren't evil. They're just selling you a solution to a problem that no longer exists. And while everyone else follows the same outdated advice, you have a choice. Comment below. Are you going to stay in university, or are you going to pivot to an alternative path? Tell me your biggest fear about the changing job market. And if you're serious about thriving in the new job market, subscribe and hit notifications, because next week I'm going to reveal the 5 skills that will be worth more than any degree by 2030. Final question. What's one thing you're going to do differently after watching this video? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one and I will respond. Don't let YouTube bury this message. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you next week, where we dive deeper into building wealth outside the traditional system. Thanks for watching.